You are listening to Feed the Beast, a weekly podcast exploring all things food with business partners, spouses, and your hosts, Chef Chris Paul and nutritionist Leigh-Ann Charles Paul of Everything We Eat. I hope you're hungry, because it's time to feed your inner beast.
Welcome back to Feed the Beast. I'm Leigh-Ann Charles Paul.
And I'm Chris Paul.
And our guests today are from Really Real Ginger. We've got founders Illiyaas and Hadia. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. We're very excited to talk about what you're doing. I know you guys are blowing up really good, right? So before we get started, we'll talk about a little bit of food news. In case you haven't heard, LaCroix is being sued, and it is LaCroix because I've had this conversation so many times. But yeah, it's LaCroix because it's French, but I went on their website and it said it's LaCroix, like it rhymes like enjoy. It literally said that. So
they just spelled it wrong, I guess. French is LaCroix, meaning the cross. So.
Yeah, so LaCroix is being sued for false labeling. The lawyers in Chicago are claiming that one of the ingredients, linalool, is also found in cockroach insecticides. So LaCroix is denying these claims, and they're saying that it's false and without basis. There's no evidence of this ingredient being in their waters. So we'll see how this plays out. But I know everybody's on the LaCroix craze.
It's healthier, I guess the perception is that you're getting flavor without the sugars, so that's always a push forward, I think, instead of just sugary drinks. Yeah, natural.
Definitely. So let's get back here to Illiyaas. Illiyaas, what's going on?
Hey, thank you for having me here today, my wife.
I know you are a fellow Penn State grad.
Woo-hoo. Yes,
we are Penn State. Yes.
We are, yes.
And I guess, whatever, Drexel. Yay, Drexel, Philly.
We won money with Drexel. Drexel funded us.
See?
Yeah, they funded us for the food.
That is great.
Yeah, we won first prize.
Really?
For innovative food creation.
Wow. What year was this?
2015.
Very nice.
Yeah, so we entered and we won. It was a crazy story, actually. It was caught us by surprise. Yeah, I don't know if you got time for me to tell you real quick.
Go ahead. That's what we're here for.
So I was doing the Enterprise Center had a competition for cooking up success in 2015. Mm-hmm. So we were in that competition, and then I got an email about the competition that Drexel University had. We were not Drexel students, but other Drexel students had entered. We got there a little late, and so when we came with the products, the air conditioner was broke. Mm-hmm. Air conditioner was broke. Mm-hmm. And we had these ice cold ginger with hibiscus drinks. So we come in there, all the other guys, they went ahead and presented. And so when we got there, they said, okay, we just make up at the end. Okay, you're next. We come in with these ginger drinks, refresh everyone. They say, first prize goes to Really Real Ginger, and we got the prize.
Yay!
Yeah. But they loved the product. The product was great, but it was just, everything just lined up perfectly. It was a hot day, summer, and it's like, but it made a lot of sense for what we had, the functionality of our product. But
that helped us to buy the equipment we need. Mm-hmm. The money they give to us, we bought them like a juicer,
blenders, everything,
so
nutrition facts. So they fund us really good. Yeah, so Drexel was great. We love Drexel.
Yes.
Shout out to Drexel.
I love Drexel because of Chris.
Drexel brought me Chris.
Exactly. No, that's so exciting. Yeah.
So how'd you guys get started?
Yeah, so the business, so pretty much how it was, my wife and I, we always were looking at different business books, trying to figure out our own business. I've always worked a job. When I got back from the Peace Corps, I was in Mali for...
That's how you guys met, right?
That's how we met. We met in Peace Corps. I was in Mali for 4 years, and when I came home from Mali, I had this urge to be an entrepreneur. While in Mali, I was doing a lot of stuff with small business enterprise. And so just started off with anything, selling buttons, bumper stickers. So I was selling T-shirts a lot too. And so I had this event that came up. And my wife said, don't sell T-shirts. I said, why not? She said, you still have a closet full of T-shirts from the last time you tried to sell these T-shirts. So I said, okay. I said, what should I sell? She said, sell the juice. And I knew she was talking about the fresh ginger juice that she would make all the time during the holidays and that I drank all the time while I was in the Peace Corps. And our family knew how to make it for decades, right? So The night before the event, we made about 400 of these bottles of ginger juice. The next day, we went out to the event and sold 300 juices in 3 hours.
Wow.
And the rest was history. Every day.
No juices in the closet.
No juices in the closet.
Yeah.
And every day since then, or every week since then, we sold juices in one form or another. Whether it was doing a small community event, friends and family that wanted to try it out or buy it. And so from there, we, like I said, in 2015, this all started in 2011, right? So in 2015, we entered a competition with the Enterprise Center for the food competition and also with Drexel, got a little bit of funding, and that kind of helped propel us to where we are today, kind of using those funds to buy equipment and building our customer base, more customer acquisition, more festivals, more events. And if we speed it up to, I hope I'm not jumping the gun, if we speed it up to 2017, we actually were able to get into the Reading Terminal Market, which was one of the biggest highlights of our business career so far.
Yeah.
They allowed us to have something called a day stall, where we were able to sell our product in the terminal for, it was 2 days a week when we first started. We did so well that they actually offered us a few months later to be in the terminal 7 days a week.
Yeah.
So it's been from May 2017 to now we've been in the terminal, but from January 2018 to now we've been there 7 days a week.
Very nice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So now, what are your products? Essentially, they all have ginger.
Yeah.
You
So
have
we
a ton of different flavors. I had some that were really great.
Yeah,
yes, sir,
very
yes,
refreshing.
Yes, sir. So we started off. We had the first two flavors we had was the ginger with lemon and mint. So we used fresh ginger, fresh mint, lemon. Then we had the hibiscus tea with fresh ginger, lemon, and mint. Now, hibiscus is called different things to different people, but it's sorrel or Dublini or Bissap if you go overseas.
Yeah,
But-
it's sorrel in Trinidad.
Yeah, exactly.
But the sorrel in America is like a green leaf.
Green leaf if you Google search it,
So
right.
it's so confusing.
And that's the thing, they call it hibiscus all over the world, so we didn't want to just call it one thing, so we just called it hibiscus just to kind of cover everything. So when folks come over and ask, is it this, that, it's like, yeah, that's the same
So
thing.
you are referring to the flower,
The sorrel,
right?
the sorrel.
That's dry.
Right, dry,
Okay,
red, exactly. And so those are the first two that we came out with, and then later on we came out with tamarind with fresh ginger and mint, and then the newest one we have is called baobab. Baobab with ginger. So baobab is the king of superfruits. It has 6 times the vitamin C of an orange, 7 times the antioxidants of pomegranate.
What is it like?
It tastes like a banana, strawberry, and orange together to me.
Yeah, like a smoothie.
Like a smoothie. The consistency is thick like that.
Where
is
did
it
you find it?
from?
It's from
From Africa.
It's from Africa. You can get it from any country in Africa.
Country, Senegal, Mali, Ghana.
Yes.
It's like they call it like king of the superfood.
Yes, the king of
Like a
superfruits.
tree of life.
Tree of life. Yes, it's
I
a
don't
tree
know
of
if you
life.
heard about it. It's a big tree.
Yeah, it's popular all over.
What Disney based their Tree of Life on?
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
A lot of I don't know if you call it folklore, like stories about Sunyata Keita. A lot of African folklore a lot of it's based around this baobab tree. Because its significance with Africa and also with health benefits that it has. So it has these prebiotics, right, inside. This is just the fruit. I'm not talking about the bark or the leaf, which also has benefits. So in Africa, they actually take the bark and they use it. They use the leaf in the sauces.
Yeah.
But the fruit itself, it has prebiotics that create these microorganisms that push out bad bacteria out of your stomach. And if you have high...
We talked about prebiotics. One of the kombucha, in the previous episode, one of the kombuchas that we love in Aldi has prebiotics. And
most things have probiotics.
Probiotics,
Yeah.
exactly. But
Nice.
baobab, as far as what it has with the vitamin C, 6 times vitamin C of an orange and all these things, so it pushes out the bad bacteria out your gut, and then it replenishes your body with these high vitamin levels, high mineral levels. Fiber 6 times that of plum and peaches. It's the levels are off the charts. And when I say king of superfruits, it reigns supreme over acai berry, Concord grapes, any other superfruit you can think of is higher than that. The levels. So when I was in Peace Corps, that was all we did. We drank these different drinks, right? And I didn't realize all the benefits of it till I came home and I started studying it more. Right after she told me to start making the ginger juice, I said, "Well, let me see what we'll be doing." And so, what we do is when we sell the product, we always push the functionality of what we serve, as opposed to just a great taste. It's a great taste, but a lot of people prefer to hear more about benefit as opposed to just like this tastes great like a Snap or a Mystic, or, powders and colors. But when you show them that it can serve a purpose, they buy into it more. Yeah, those were, and then we also have some ginger candies that we sell as like more or less accessories to the juices, and that came out later. We just had, we have these ginger candies that we sell too.
Yeah.
So those are delicious as well, and that's good for digestion if you have upset stomach, and you can carry it with you in your pocket, road trips, because a lot of times people don't realize that ginger is good for anti-inflammatory, nausea, bacterial, and fungal, good for motion sickness, better for motion sickness than Dramamine, right? And hibiscus is good for lowering the blood pressure. Also great for the cardiovascular system, great for your heart. And then tamarind, also that's popular in Trinidad, right? You do tamarind juice. But tamarind is high magnesium, rich in potassium, high in vitamin C, good for the heart, liver, fighting cancer, and it also has beta carotene. If you have arthritis,
skin disease, and
Yeah, you can actually take the tamarind and put it on your skin, and it will subside any inflammation you have.
Or something come out of your skin, so that help you to heal all.
You're taking all the good stuff and you put it in the bottle.
Exactly, exactly, and that's the key, making it taste great. So then I have the chemist here, my wife. She is the chef, the one that she puts the taste together. And so she knows how to make it so good that
I've been making that when I was like 10, 11 because my mom used to make it. Yes, so
just family recipe.
Yeah,
yes,
people
family.
used to come to our house. They buy like a summertime, like when it's hot. So people come, they buy. So that's what I learned from my mom. And then she used to go to the market and sell it too. So and then it's not like it's just juice, but it's like that product. It's good for your body. It does a lot of stuff. We said in the product, but it's like it's not just you drinking it, but it heals a lot of stuff you need it for.
What is it called traditionally in Mali? Is there a specific name for
the juice?
Oh, for the juice?
Well, they call it Yamako.
We call it Yamako. Yamako is that's the ginger.
That's the ginger.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yes,
we did it something different though, right?
Yeah,
So
made it different.
we made it different. So with the ginger is called Yamako G. G means water, and ginger is Yamako, right? But what we did was a lot of times with the hibiscus it's called Dublini, and then the tamarind is called Tomi or Tomi G.
Tomi G. So
And-
that's like a G. That's like a water.
Water.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's like
And then the baobab is called Zira.
Zira.
But what we did was we incorporated ginger in each one. But in Mali, it's not popular to add ginger to all of them.
Right.
But we decided
So we-
and that was the idea that my wife had. She said, "Look, we're just gonna put ginger in everything."
Yeah.
And
So
I was
the
like,
base, the
"Yeah, it's a
ginger is
base,
the base.
right?"
Yeah, the ginger is the base.
That's
So
why
we
it's
make
new.
everything with the ginger. But Mali, we make it just like we call it, Nyamakuji.
Yeah, that's what we want the ginger.
Just
That-
the basic.
just-
Just,
right.
But we take it next level because a lot of people make it here. But for our product, if you drink it, you know the difference. This come from us.
Yeah, we want our own signature.
Yeah.
To it.
really real ginger?
Really real ginger,
Yeah,
exactly.
ginger.
Yeah.
How did you come up with the name?
Well, really real ginger came out of I was in Africa and I went to Benin, right? Benin, I was in Cotonou, and that's the capital, right? So when I was in Africa and Benin, it was a lot of history with the African culture. I was thinking about starting my own film business, right? So I called it Really Real Films. So I did some.
Oh, hence the real
It's
REEL.
Exactly. So what happened was when I came back to the States, I did some small things like music video, documentary stuff. And when the event came up that I was going to sell the juices at, before that I was going to sell the T-shirts that just had something about the film. And so and I wanted to keep the brand associated. So I just said Really Real Ginger. The idea of doing a Really Real Ginger, I didn't realize that this was actually going to be it. Like I didn't realize that Really Real Ginger was the thing that I built. I came with the film thing, but it was like, no. This is the ginger, right? So the Really Real Films, I love my Really Real Films, but the Really Real Ginger was, I didn't realize it was going to go to that next level after the event. And when I saw how big it hit with that event, I said, well, let's just go. Let's keep going.
Yeah. It was a plan. I just say, I just make you something to sell it.
Yeah.
Because I know the T-shirt's not going to work.
Yeah, because we don't sell T-shirts that just had the Really Real Films.
Are they still in the closet?
Yeah, they're still in the closet. She showed me the other day. I got
You
them in
still
the
have
closet.
like a photo of them. I'm telling you.
Yeah, we got still there.
A reminder.
7 years later, they're in the closet. But there's no ginger juice left.
No, yes.
A reminder of this has to
That's
work.
right, this ain't right.
Because T-shirts
It's down,
aren't cutting it.
go ahead.
They give that.
Give that away. She told me the other day, you need to give these away already. I don't even tell you that.
Ginger under the film?
Right, just for the crosses.
Oh, you could.
like a Basquiat. So
Yeah, exactly.
Michelle Basquiat.
Either way.
But it's funny because the name is so appropriate. I didn't understand where the REEL comes from, but it's so appropriate because it's really real ginger.
Right. So we just said, it's different. It still makes us different. And I can remember where I come from with it. Not saying that Reliever Films is over. It may come again in the future. My wife got to look in her eye like, stop playing. But still, it can be real and in good health. It can mean a number of things, but it's based in that. Yeah, so.
No, I love that. And I want to piggyback to something that you actually said about talking about the benefits of a product. People, I think nowadays, unlike how things were back in the day, well, if you push the benefits of a product, people are more receptive to it because I think, historically there were a lot of family meals. People were cooking in the kitchen. So there wasn't this heightened need to eat out every single day or buy products all the time. And, in the 70s, 80s, 90s, that kind of shift. And now millennials, we're just like, I don't want to eat, but I want to buy breakfast. I want to go. Or I just don't want to cook. Like I want to eat things or even drink things. And so now people more so want to hear, when you create a product, they more so want to hear like, what are the benefits? Why is this good for me? Because my mom's not cooking it, my dad's not cooking it, and grandma's not doing it. And I think it's great. So based on your psychology background, what tactics did you use from that? And you also had a minor in business too.
Right. So while I was at Penn State, I studied psychology with a business minor option, they called it. So what I did was before I started the business, I spent a lot of time reading books, watching documentaries and videos, just modeling the masters that did well at their businesses, and then looked at things that they did when working with customers, right? What were things that customers really were drawn to? So the idea of focusing on functionality, right? That's a part of the psychology of it, right? That people want to know, what will this do for me? What will it do for my body? And all that came after I was in Penn State. A lot of studying happened there, but also on the ground in Mali as a Peace Corps volunteer doing small business development with a lot of women associations in the villages that surrounded the town that I lived in. So it came down to me really just focusing on the customer and the customer wants and needs and how their thought process worked. So even now when we do the business, the smaller menu has a lot to do with the mindset of the people. We have four flavors. And for 7 years, for 6 years, we had just 2 or 3 flavors. And knowing how customers typically prefer not to spend too much time trying to select this large menu because after a while it gets frustrating and then they get tired. And so I looked at businesses like your Coca-Cola who had just one flavor for 100 years. And, just understanding them, or you say Vita Coco that figured out that coconut water was good for hydration and that it was the second largest consumed beverage after orange juice in Brazil, and knowing how to really look at what the people want. So that ties closely to the psychology. And also if you're teaching people something, I found that they really are drawn into the lesson. So not just shoving things down their throat, like take this because you're looking for the money, but offering a value-added approach, not only to the transformation of the ginger root into a beverage, but value-added approach to offering knowledge to customers so they're getting more than just, say, something to drink that's good. My wife can tell you all the time when she's at the Reading Terminal working, you have folks that come with testimonies of how the juice has helped them. And she'll tell me after the day is over, like, this woman came and told me this. This guy said this did it for his hand and this did it for his foot. And it's not just a placebo effect, right? Because the juices that we make, they do have these benefits innately. So I think the psychology comes in with really trying your hardest to understand your customers, because the customer is the most important part of the business. And that's what I believe. It's more than any other part, is the customers first.
Yeah, and like you said, if something works, there's no need to, because that's the trend now of offering variety, but it definitely certainly brings confusion with variety. So unless someone was like, oh man, I'm tired of this ginger, it's like, no, they like it. So
Like, have you ever had a customer say to you, which one do you like the best?
Yeah.
Because at this point, they're tired of even trying to make a decision. They're hungry or they're thirsty. They just want something. So now they're pretty much just asking you. So with you having a smaller selection of things, it's easier for them to just say, okay, they have 3 juices here, 4 juices here, okay. Sugar or no sugar. I'll take the one with no sugar. Okay, yeah, give me that one. And that's it. And it does wonders for the business. The sales are happening faster because you only have to focus on one thing, right? Transitioning from just not having so many things to purchase as far as inventory and supplies when you're making product, because now you don't have to make a menu or have supplies enough for 20 things on the menu or 30 things on the menu. Just get the same base things and just make it in more numbers. So now you're able to move more. Well, the money's going to come in more, right? Because the focus is focused now.
And that's one of your options. You have no sugar and sugar.
Right. So we had two.
Everything has.
Yeah, we had two choices, right? So we had sweetened or unsweetened, and we have zero added sugar. So zero added sugar is the one that's unsweetened. So all it is going to be is the sweetness from the fruits or whatever's in the bottle besides cane sugar. So you'll have the sweetest one, maybe say the baobab or.
Baobab naturally sweet.
It's naturally sweet, so you don't even need to add anything. So you get more benefit from that, possibly from not having as much sugar. Yeah. But the thing is, you have customers that want both, so you can't cut off sugar completely. But you can't cut off zero added sugar, so you have to have some type of in between. When we first started, people were talking about so many alternative sweeteners, and that's funny too because you don't know what alternative is the best for someone. So the best thing you do is just give them nothing and let them paint their own canvas, right? Yeah. And they like that better. Like you don't force agave on someone that may not want that; they want Splenda. Yeah. So you give them nothing, and they can just add their own if they want to, or just take it with nothing. Yeah, and I like
that's a great model.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great model. Yeah,
there's so many sugar alternatives.
And it's like a whole thing, right? So you can't get packets of stevia, and it's like too much going on.
Part of the wrong trend,
right?
Like, why are you eating that?
right, and that's the thing.
I thought it was good,
right? And then you get picked on by their peers, and that's what it is. And the thing with the zero added sugar, right? We wanted to focus on inclusion for everyone, no matter what health condition they had. And a lot of times with our residents that live or in the city of Philadelphia, or just even in the region or in the country, they feel like unless it's clear, they can't touch it because they assume that it has some type of sweetener or something to it. So with us having the zero added sugar, you might have folks that suffer from a number of health conditions that restrict them from taking added sugar, and now they can feel like they can be a part of what everyone is a part of. We don't want to make an exclusionary, so we make sure we include and be inclusive of everyone's and that's the thing, being a part of the party. Like, what are you drinking now? Okay, yeah, come on, you can have some too. Whatever you want to do, come on.
I like it. Yeah, not niche at all. Niche in a way of like
niche in a way of that,
but
not exactly
exclusive.
Yeah. Exactly.
I love it.
And we make the price point affordable to the average wage earner. It's nothing that's like, especially for the value that we're putting in the bottle. The cost is not going to really impact someone negatively, right?
How much on average?
Well, I say on average, if we look across, we're talking about $6, but we have a $5 price, we have a $7 price bottle, and we have a $9 price, right? So it depends on what you get, but we do offer specials. If you get a quantity amount, we take about 40% off the price if you get 15 juices. So it's ways for you to get it more affordable for yourself if you buy more. So that's pretty much how we approach it. So it's savings, and you might have we have more or less a whole family or a group of people in the office that want something. You can order a whole case, and you can cut the price down some.
Guys, what are some of the early issues you may have had when you started off?
And how would you have changed them now?
Because I know one thing, you're actually at the Dorrance H. Hamilton Center as your commissary. Right. So prior to that, how was bottling? How were you getting this done?
Yeah. So when we first started, it was just my wife and I, and we were just making the ginger juice. And some of the issues that we had was not really able, before getting into the Enterprise Center, being able to produce it in the consistency that we want to have, like an even consistency across the board. But by being at the Enterprise Center, Dorrance Hamilton, CCE, we're able now to, by using their facility, it has a more consistent taste across the brand. We're seeing that. It's a big difference. And it's not too sweet, it's not too spicy, or it's not underspiced. Everything is just nice. That's the greatest thing about being at the commercial kitchen, is that you bring that flavor to people. But I think early on, some of the issues, which kind of just like this approach that I took, I was more of a I'm this way now, but it's called ready, fire, aim. It's a model that I kind of go by, where I'm ready, I just fire, and then I aim it later. Right, so because sometimes when you're ready, aim, fire, you get crippled by analysis paralysis, right? You're overanalyzing so much that you're not even taking action. So I was always told to just take this action. And I think early on, by not knowing what I couldn't do, I just did any old thing. So far as going to events or choosing stores to have a product in, or purchasing at gross amounts as opposed to buying it by the pound or buying it by the ton. These things that I learned over time before I got to this point, and I think those lessons are great because then you'll start to see, okay, how can we save more on this end of the business and what events not to do just because they say it's a Caribbean festival. Which annual is it? What year is it? If it's the first annual, we don't do it. If it's the 10th or the 15th or the 20th, oh yeah, that's the one we're going to try to do. And a lot of times when businesses start, they just say anything that's kind of tied to what we're doing, we're going to just do it. But you have to see if what you're going to associate yourself with, what kind of impact does this association have already on the market? And at first, I didn't know that. So I can tell you some examples. So when we first started, we did an event. It was a Caribbean event in North Philly off of Belfield. It's like a center, right? And so this woman came up to me. She said, I'm having this event. It's a Caribbean festival. I said, oh, yeah, ginger, right? Yeah, that goes great. I said, it's got to work. And so I said, okay, honey. So we made about 300 juices. That's like my number, right? 300 juices. I think I went home with about 295 juices. And I think the reason why was because it was their first annual. And it wasn't until later on I talked to other vendors. They're like, well, what year? How many years did they do it for? I said, I think this is their first time. He said, man, you never do an event that's their first year. You never do that. You have to let them have a track record first. You do 15-year, 10-year, 20-year, 30-year annual. Those are the things that you do because it already had built enough traction and buzz that people know about it. So these are the tricks of the trade that we use to kind of decide what we're going to do, what we're not going to do. Not everything that glitters is not gold, right? Yeah. So especially if you have certain events, it's short time. Like if it's only enough time, like 3-hour event or a 2-hour event, no matter how flashy it sounds, I don't care if Jay-Z and Beyonce was there. If it's like not enough time for you to move the product in a way, it's a waste of your time. And so it's a lot of things you have to really look at and measure because you may be better off at some other place. Right?
Standing outside of the exit,
right?
Jay-Z and Beyonce.
Right, for the letter,
It's like,
You're not paying the vendor fees.
And the vendor fees, and that stuff add up too. Those vendor fees, they'll add up. Even though they say it's this and that, and you end up paying $1,500 for something because sometimes you can get away with doing something for $25 and you make more impact than if you paid $1,000.
We learned that with the food truck very quickly.
Yeah. So and that's what I mean. So and it only comes over time with you doing this different type of business of vending or wholesaling or putting in retail locations. And you do learn as you go. But I think that was an important part of us starting out when we did. I was, first starting out just selling it out of the back of taking my crates and going to Broad and Alany and going door to door to hair salons, barbershops, other places, going and knocking on doors, saying, hey, I got this ginger juice, just selling one-on-one. And that training allowed me to see what to do and what not to do. Like that's what I did for a long time, just going to hair salons, and just going knocking on doors, and finally I saw where I fit in all of it.
Yeah, you could attest to that, right?
You door to door? You was doing it?
Well, I had a weird short stint where I did door to door for the whole energy market thing when that happened.
Oh yeah, the deregulation.
Oh,
yeah.
You remember that? Yeah.
It was good. I think it was.
But I didn't do it.
Yeah.
I did it for like a month, and that was like the toughest 30 days because no matter rejection, like someone like almost stick their dog on us at one point.
Oh,
someone got mad, like went in. I think he may have went and got a weapon. It got like
got serious.
But then like after that, like. Talking to anyone normal is like,
that's
nothing. You get back. It makes it easier for you, right?
Yeah, and it makes business easier. You got to put yourself out there.
Definitely. I used to do things like set up outside of where I worship at, right? At the end of service, just go out there with a table, had a partner, whether I sold a little bit. It was a training for me, right? Inoculation to rejection, right?
Yeah.
And just build up a thicker skin. Yeah. And that way, if they say no to you over and over. So now when people say no to me, it's like...
There'll be more.
That's it. Because I was taught by I went to some training, and they said that there's two types of salespeople. The amateur and the professional salesperson. They said an amateur is in the business of convincing people to buy their product. They said the professional, he sorts. Mm-hmm. So knowing that there's 6 billion people on the planet, if you go to no, you finally gonna get your yes. So you don't have to be in the business of trying to convince somebody to buy. You just know that after you go through a few of them, you're gonna definitely find a yes later.
So on that note, that's a great note to end on. A great tip for our listeners out there. A lot of people who are trying to go into the industry.
Yes.
Words of wisdom from Illiyaas and Hadia. So thank you so much for speaking with us. Hope you guys enjoyed yourself.
Yes, we had a great time. Thank
Awesome,
you.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we can't wait to see your products, elsewhere as you expand.
You're at Reading Terminal now,
Yeah.
7 days a week, so
Yes.
anyone could definitely be sure to check them out. You're at Mariposa,
Yes.
and you're in a few other stores.
Yes.
I know
Maniquiche, Sods, Top Taste. And folks can visit the website. We're www.reallyrealginger.com. That's ReallyReelGinger.com. And they have we have a list. I'm going to revise it more, but we have a list of retail locations that you can check out. If you would like to place an order, you can get it online, and just we have online shop as well.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, and we do events all year long. If you want us for anything that you have going on, you reach out to us on the website. 267-588-7094 is our number, or you can reach out to us on Instagram and Facebook at Really Real Ginger, or any of those.
Great. Thank you so much. I love it. So you know what you want. You're ready, shoot, aim.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Exactly. So before we close out today, we're actually going to do a highlight. I thought it was a newer trend, but I guess it's not. Urban axe throwing, which is
I've heard of that.
super cool. I guess it became popular, I guess, like a year ago, so it shows that I'm behind on urban axe throwing.
Yeah.
But there's going to be a new bar opening up in a year in Old City. It's called...
Sounds kind of dangerous.
Yeah, it's called... Kick Axe Throwing, and it's originally based in Brooklyn, and they're opening up in Old City. Right now, though, for those of you who didn't know about urban axe throwing and you're just like me, there's a spot in Kensington at 2019 East Boston, and then there's another one on 1719 Washington. It's called Bury the Hatchet,
That's the one I've seen.
And it's they also, for the people that live outside and surrounding neighborhoods of Philly, Bury the Hatchet is also located in Cherry Hill, King of Prussia, and Ben Salem. And basically, they serve beer and wine, and it's a game. The rules are pretty simple. You just play multiple games against different opponents, and whoever racks up the most points wins.
Is the beer and wine separate from where you're throwing the axe?
I mean, so there's like it's not a barricade because there's definitely spaces in between there. But people stand behind there as the person in front. They're in like a place where they throw the axe forward, and it's caged there. And then there's a bullseye thing. So you can
wonder what their insurance looks like.
I know.
For that venture.
Right? I told my friend about it. She's like, I am not going there because she got hit in the ball with, I'm sorry. She got She got hit in the head by one of the ski balls.
Okay, that makes sense.
And those are hard. I don't know what they're made, like wood and metal.
Like the arcade?
Yeah.
It's like a little bowling ball.
It is a little bowling ball.
In the head?
Yes, somebody was drunk and they threw it up, and you know how it bounces? Well, it bounced and hit her.
Oh man, it bruised her, right?
Yeah, she wasn't unconscious or anything, so that's why I can laugh about it, because she was like, ow, but she's like, I'm not going to axe throwing place, I'm traumatized from ski balls. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited to check it out. So that's our highlight. So check out those two places, and next year look out for Kick Axe Throwing. Thank you guys again for coming in. Great talking to you. Be sure to check us out on everythingweeat.com for our happenings and future events, and follow us on Instagram, Everything We Eat Philly, and also on Chris Paul's Chef. We'll be doing a bunch of different things. Thank you all for listening to us. Be sure to check us out next week on Feed the Beast.
Hello, everyone. This is Ryan Martin, the producer and sound engineer for The Grit Studios. If you enjoy our podcasts, the most important thing you can do to support us is share this episode with your family and friends, and let us know what you think about it in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you find your podcasts. Subscribing is 100% free. Don't know how to subscribe? Don't worry about it. There's a video walking you through the process in the show notes below. We will see you next week, and thank you for listening.